says one person's on here, but I'm not sure because I don't know yet. It appears to be working. We'll see. Hey, Gabby, can you hear me and see me? And is it clear? Good? Okay. Okay. What? Yeah. And then it'll go through. Oh my gosh. So sorry. Love you. Thank you. Hi, guys. I am so sorry about that. I don't know why it does this every single week, but my husband helped me get through it. He restarted everything, restarted the computer, restarted the Wi-Fi. So hopefully it works. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes just to see if other people jump back on. So we'll see. Of course. I tried to answer all the questions. Like during lunchtime, when I take a break, I'll get on the computer and kind of just go through all the messages. Because now that I've added YouTube into my life, it's super fun, but it's a lot. There's lots of messages all the time. So I try to take out some time in my day and just go through all the messages and make sure I'm answering them correctly and giving you the right information, because that's important. So yeah, I hurried and texted him. I'm like, can you please come help me? This is not working and people are going to leave. Yay. So please, like, in all caps, let me know if it starts to like disconnect or anything, because apparently that's what happens to me on my lives. So I'm going to be known for the disconnection lady. Okay, we have some people coming back. Would one of you guys mind linking it on Discord so people know I'm back? Oh, really? I know a lot of people actually that live in Surprise. When I was like in high school, when I was, back in the day, a lot of my friends and friends of friends that we went to high school with and whatnot, they all live out there because I grew up over by Lake Pleasant. I don't know if you know where that's at, but it's way like northwest Phoenix, I guess, like way, way north. So I know a lot of people live out there. Thank you, Sandy. Sorry to bother. I know, Gabby, that did happen to you, and I felt so bad. I was like, no, it's happening to her too. But it was so weird because on my computer, I see full lines, and it wasn't like one or two bars all the way full. And then on my computer, it was saying my connection's been lost. So I am so not techie, so I don't know why it would do that. So anyway, it's solved. Hopefully for the rest of the time. Okay, no, 4 rompers are laid out right here. So I was saying tonight's going to be a little bit different because I have a lot of orders to do. So I need to get these out. I'm going to try to like sew these. So like normally on my lives, what I've been doing is like completely explaining step by step what I'm doing, like kind of like a tutorial. But tonight I don't have time for that sort of live. So if you guys have any questions or anything, I'm going to, obviously like chat with you guys, answer questions and whatnot. But mostly it's going to be like a work along video, if that makes sense, because I need to kind of get these orders out. But I prepped everything today so that I can just kind of sew. I have blankets to do. I need to get my embroidery machine up and running. I already uploaded all the designs I needed. It's just names because I personalize my loveys and baby blankets. So I have like 3 or 4 of those to do tonight that need to go out tomorrow. So I'll put those on the machine and then I'll come back over here and just start sewing. And then I also have, what else do I have? So these are all bummies, or not bummies, these are all rompers that I have out right here. There's 4 of them. And then I have a bunch of bummies that I need to sew. And if we make good timing on this, then I can start doing those too. But if not, then more than anything, these need to go out tomorrow. So I just kind of wanted to get those going. So, yes. I know it's hard because, like, especially when you're working and you're not paying attention to the chat and you're just talking, and then it cut off and you have no idea, you're just talking to yourself. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming. I apologize deeply that this happens every time. I really look forward to my lives on Mondays with you guys. So that's why I've tried time and time again to get it going. At least it was only, what was this, 3 times this night? Last week, I think it was more than that. I'm telling you, eventually I'll get it. I have a feeling it might be my webcam. I did order a new one, a way better one, but it doesn't come until tomorrow. So I was really bummed about that. And I almost paid for upgraded shipping just to get it for tonight, but it didn't even offer upgraded shipping. Like, it was literally like, it comes Tuesday and that's it. And then I realized that today is a holiday. So that was why. But so, yeah, so hopefully next Monday, I'm going to test it. And if it works right off the bat, then I know it's the webcam. And Gabby, you have the same exact webcam as I do. So if this is the issue, then we know that that's why you got cut off last time too. So we'll test this. Why are you telling me to shh? Anyway, I'm going to get working. So I'm going to leave the camera right here and I'm going to angle it just at the stations that I'm working at because I don't want to move it around because that's what happens when I get cut off. So I think it's the camera. So I'm going to start. I'm going to angle it over here at my embroidery machine because I'm going to put a blanket on there so we can get that going. And I'm going to show you guys the designs and everything that I'm doing. I'm just not going to move you up close to it. But then I'm going to sit right here and sew. So I can actually move this a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll talk to you while I'm doing it and tell you what I'm doing, go through it that way. But I'm not going to stop in between each thing that I'm doing like I have been. So if you have questions, either write them down or save them for when I come and sit back at the computer to answer questions because I'm not looking at the chat while I'm working. I know if some of you are new here and you don't know, I have a bad eye. So if you see me doing this with one eye, it's because I can't see out of that one eye, at least not fully. So anyway, I hope that you guys are okay with tonight's live with me just kind of working as we go. And if you have any questions, please ask me when I sit down at the computer. So I'm going to angle this. Let me see. Hold on. Just going to do that for now. Okay. I'm going to go over here. And I already pre-cut all of my fabric. So this first one that I'm doing, I don't know if you can see it, but it's this like floral pattern. And so what I do is my tag is always up here. This is what I button down with the wood ring. And then I always put the name in the opposite corner at a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to do a video on how I do that in Embroiderings because it's super duper simple. I literally just use the font that I want. I do it in my 5x7 fast frames. And then I just go up to the top where you can put an angle in and I just do 45 degrees and I do that every single time. And then can you guys hear me okay? Is my mic working? Okay, so this is the material. And this is minky. So I get all my fabric, all my minky fabric, and all of my clothing, my organic cotton. I get it all on spoon flour. And you just literally can put in the description like organic knit or minky fabric or sweet gauze, which is like a double gauze fabric. It's super soft, like for swaddle blankets. So you can search and you can literally get any pattern you want. So if you wanted like woodland bears or floral or carrots, like literally anything, bunny rabbits for Easter, and everything comes up. So can you guys, okay, cool, you can hear me. Hi, Angela. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. I know it's super late for all of you guys. So thank you for coming. I know you guys should probably be sleeping right now, but this is the only time I can do it. So, okay, so this is how I do it. I don't know if you guys can see, so I'm going to show you. I use the sticky back stabilizer for this because it's just super simple. I pre-cut them. It comes in a huge roll like this. So what I do is I literally cut it 7.5 inches long, or I'm sorry, wide, and then I cut it in half, and then it comes out in two. And that's how I use it for my 5x7 fast frames. And then I just stick it to the back of here, and then I put my blanket on. And I'll show you after I get it hooped, because I don't think you guys can see me over here. Maybe a little, but it's probably far. And I do this every single time for my blankets. So the sticky back stabilizer was kind of difficult in the beginning when I first started using it, because you have to get it like super tight or it's got like bubbles underneath of it. So you want it like really tight. So I can show you guys in a different live when I'm doing like a tutorial how I do it to make it super secure. And then I just line my corners up on the edges, like overlapping the frame. And then I just stick it down on here and it sticks perfectly fine. And then I do use a water-soluble stabilizer for my minky fabrics, and I keep it in a bag. You always want to seal it, because I have left a piece out before thinking, oh, I'll just leave it out and use it later. And then I go to use it, and it's literally like crusty. It'll like flake off. So I just cut a piece big enough for the name. And actually, I'm going to cut 3 of these because I'm doing 3 blankets tonight. So just to make it easy. I feel bad that I can't even see what you guys are saying. But guess what, guys? I am halfway there to 1,000 subscribers. I checked today earlier and I was at 509. So the reason why, if you're wondering why I'm so anxious to get to 1,000 subscribers, is so I can use my phone. Because if I can use my phone, do you know how nice that's going to be for me? Because I have so many different stations in here. I can't show you guys what I'm doing on a computer. Like, I want to be able to like bring you around with me and show you what I'm doing. So that is why I'm anxious about it. Okay. So I always leave a little extra of my sticky back over the edges. And so then that, instead of pinning my water soluble, I can just stick it to like this extra piece down here. I just stick it right here. Instead of having to like use my pins in here and having to worry about the needles hitting them, I just do that. But what I haven't done is check my machine yet to see. Okay, that's good. So I know there's a lot of people who say don't put air in your machine, but guess what? It's my machine. So I'm going to do it because it's simple. And you never know like what the right information is. So I just kind of do it. Do what I want. So I already have everything saved on my USB. So I'm just going to go in here and I just do it. Whoops, I just totally took that off. That's okay. So anyway, I was saying I just save like on my USB. I just save because I do it the same every time at the 45-degree angle. So in Brilliance, I just save it as their name, and that's how I look it up in my computer. And then I have all these. I use the clipboards, and I put my orders in here. So then I just look at the blanket that I'm working on, and then I look at the name, and then I just bring up the name. And I write down the backing that I'm using because I use a different color backing for my blankets as well. So this one's name is Paola. So I'm just going to go in here and look for her name. And then like every now and then when I'm not busy, I'll just go through my machine and delete all the names that I don't need anymore. And then I'm using a fast frame. So I'm going to go into my design set and I'm going to choose my, I know the settings on here because I've done it so many times and it's not actually meant for a fast frame, but I know and I trace it, so it's fine. I use my C frame, but then I always go in here with my X and my Y's and I take out 100% and I make it at 88% every time. And I just know that because that's my machine. It's going to be different for other machines, but that's just the size that I like it on these blankets. So this name is a little bit smaller. So I start at 88. I'm going to back up. I start at 88%, and if it's too small, then I'll go up a couple percentages and just until I like it, because each name is different. Some names have two names. Like I'm going to do a blanket tonight that her name is, what is it, like Sloan Grace? Yeah, Sloan Grace, which is a long name. And so when they're long like that on these little blankets, I do one name and then underneath I kind of stagger it and I do the second name. So you always have to account for how big the name is. Okay. So then I don't remember what I embroidered last with. I think it was my fast frame. Yep. So if it wasn't my fast frame, then I would just have to adjust it, but it's all set up already. Turn my light on. I hope you guys can kind of see what I'm doing over here. I just lay my blanket behind here so it doesn't get in the way. But so then I use also just a regular tearaway stabilizer. I cut them into small pieces for the back of the name. So nothing specific, like no size in particular, just like a rectangle. And I just slide it underneath here, kind of at the same angle, 45-degree angle. So I have a water soluble on top, and then I have my minky blanket, and then I have the sticky back and a tearaway underneath. And like I said, everyone has their own way to do it. This is just the way that has worked for me. I've tried so many different ways, and with this minky material, this way has just worked out for me every time, so I just stick with it. So now I'm going to choose my color, and her backing, she wanted a rose color. So I'm going to see, this is the color that she chose. I don't know if you guys can see it from over there. It's really furry, so I don't want to get it over, but you can't really see it. But it's like a rose gold color. You can't really tell from over there. So I'm just kind of seeing what color goes good with it. That doesn't match. I think I'm going to use that one up there because it matches pretty good. Okay. So that is, so I know you guys watched Adelaida from Little Alessia Co. Her machine is basically, well, she has, I think, the 15 needle. Mine's a 10 needle, but they're basically the same machine, but opposite. So my number 1 needle is over here and hers is over here. I don't know why I just thought I would mention that. So this is my number 1, 2, 3. So I'm putting on number 3. Okay, so this is where I take my ruler and I put it on the end over here and I just line it up. And it's on my number 3 needle. So I'm going to line that up to the middle of, I'm going to go to my tracing. I have to put it in embroidery mode. And so then I'm just going to move the needle around to where it's center right there in the middle. So that's perfect. It's right there in the center. Then I don't trace the whole thing because I know it's going to be smaller than that hoop. So I'm just going to use the arrow to the very left bottom corner and take my 3 needle and go down and make sure it's within the perimeter. So that's fine. Now I'm going to go up and do the same thing to the opposite corner and make sure it's not going to hit that, and it's totally fine. So this is the same thing I do on every blanket, and it works out every time. Okay. I'm just going to double check that because I hit the wrong button. All right, and now we're going to just hit start. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before I start sewing? Is that super loud? What is here? I want to bring this chat up on my phone, but I don't want to mess with the Wi-Fi. Cindy, you're supposed to be in bed. Okay, I think my microphone is like, it takes out sound, which is good. Hi, everyone. Okay, so now that is going, I'm going to start working on these rompers, and I hope that you guys, I'm going to put you right here. So that you can see what I'm doing. Good. Hope you guys are having a good night. Try not to hit any cords, because God knows if I hit something, it'll disconnect. Okay, so like I said, I already prepped everything earlier. I have my 4 rompers over here. I have 2 of, this is like one of my most popular ones. It's just like a mustard leaves one. So I have 2 of those. I have a donut one. This is my donut. And then I have a mermaid one, which this is one of my favorites. I don't know if you guys can see the colors on it, but it's so pretty. So I prepped them all by folding the cuffs the way they all need to be folded. I already adhered all of the straps with the poly mesh that I use. And that I had a question on that earlier, and it was, why do I use that? And the reason I use that is because when I first started making them, I didn't put anything on them. And I would obviously, like, before selling them, I always tried them on my children to see like the quality of them before actually selling them. And one day I went to go take it off to change his diaper, and the cam snap ripped a hole through it. And so I said, that's not okay. I need to figure something out with that. So then I started using just the Pellin like fusible paper stabilizer from Joann's, which was fine. But I still have to cut my one I use now, but it's one less extra supply I need. So now I just use the no-show poly mesh that I use on my embroidered shirts. So I just use the scraps of that. Or I order in a big roll so I don't notice a lot of it being used, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to like save on different products. So I cut that out. And so that gave it a lot more stability to like wear and tear when you're taking them on and off the child like so often. And it just made it really a lot stronger. So I hope I answered that question for that person. So I already prepped these with folding them. So when I do a bunch of rompers at one time, I just sew all the cuffs at one time. And these ones right here are all the same size, if you're wondering. So that's how I know like 9 to 12, 9 to 12, 9 to 12. And then I know that my mermaid one is one size bigger, but it's a different pattern. So I don't even have to worry about, like if these two were different sizes and they're same pattern, I would do them separate. I hope that makes sense. So you always want to make sure your corners are exactly lined up. Otherwise the cuff will be all weird. Kind of like a sock. When your seams are off, they feel funny. That's how the cuff will be. And I get all of my my spools, I get them from Joann's. And I literally have run out of all of them, so I need to go tomorrow to get some. So I'm weird and I don't like any thread, so I cut it all off at the same time. Don't cut the fabric though, because then it'll have a hole. So just be careful. Like if I have it real close like that, I just pull it and you'll see like when you pull it and then watch right here. See how it's like that? If you pull it and then like right here, see how it becomes like a lot of thread to like 2 strands of thread right there. So on this piece that was shorter, where I pulled it, I knew exactly where to cut right here for it to not unravel. I hope that made sense. Okay, so I'm gonna do these really quick and then I'm gonna go fix that blanket and put another one on. So I always serge, these are the liners of the rompers. This is the front piece and I always serge all of the bottom lines because it just leaves it like a I don't know, polished look. Instead of having it like that, you have it look like a store-bought clothing. Like it just makes it look so much nicer, I think. So I just take the time to do that. It doesn't take that much time. It's super easy. It's like a straight line. I had to go get a coffee. I did not sleep last night. And so then after I do these, I move over to my standard sewing machine and I put my tags on the back liner. This is the front liner, but my back liners, I put my tags on. Can you guys hear me talking when I'm sewing and talking? Okay, perfect. Yeah, sergers are literally like, I could not live without this machine. Like, I use this machine every single day. And I'm always like, I have it in my cart on Amazon because I know that I'm going to need another one day. Like, in case this one dies, I'm going to need to have another one on hand. Otherwise, I'm going to have an anxiety attack because I use this for everything. Like, literally everything. And this machine is my cover stitch machine. It's the same exact brand, everything. It's just a cover stitch instead of a serger. If you don't know what a cover stitch is basically what's always on the edges of your blouse. On the bottom of your, like this piece right here, it looks like a serged edge, but that's actually a cover stitch, what that does. Your serger does what is on the inside of your shirt, like your seams right here on the side, and then like your side seams on your pants and stuff. So they're two totally different machines. And I use this machine when I make like for my summer clothing, like my skirts and my shorts and stuff like that, that have like no cuffs and I need to roll them. This is what I use. So I will get into that like more when it's like more summertime stuff. Okay, so I finish these and then I just take them apart. And I set them where they go. But this one, so I take all of the back pieces out because I'm going to put tags on them. That's the front piece. And I don't like these strings. Okay, so what I was trying to say is when I want to cut this little one, I pull it like that and see where it's like there's that knot right there. I cut right above that knot so that it doesn't unravel. There we go. Okay, my nerves are starting to calm down. I don't know why I get so nervous when I do lives. They're just like crazy. Okay, so these are all my back pieces that I take over to this machine right here. Let's see if you guys are seeing. What are you guys talking about? When I buy minky, it's always $19 a yard. Where are you buying it, Kayla? It's always 19-ish. No way. Okay, I'm gonna go sew over here now. I mean, I pay a lot for my fabric, but my prices are also high. So you get what you pay for. That's just how I feel. I mean, if I used like cheaper fabric, my prices would be cheaper. So it's just kind of what category you want your business to be in. Okay, so these are all 9 to 12 except for my mermaid is a 18 to 24. So these are what I keep my labels in. So I need 3 9 to 12s. 1, 2, 3 9 to 12s, and then an 18 to 24. They're so tiny. And then, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I keep my clothing labels in here. These are my tags. And for 18 to 24, it's a girl. I use my bigger tags. I'm trying to get rid of my bigger tags. I have 2 different sizes. I like smaller, so I had my lady who does my tags, I had her make them, this one's bigger, this one's smaller. I had her cut it down, but because I'm trying to still get rid of these, they're still good. They're just bigger. So I only use them on my bigger sizes. So like 12 to 18 and up, I'll use those ones on. And then anything below that, I'll use my smaller tags on. And then I always just use a straight stitch on this piece. Always back stitch. Sometimes I have to lift it up under there because it like twists. And this machine doesn't have an automatic cutter, so I have to take the time and cut them. My machine over there does, but I don't have time to get up and go over there. I just like to do it right here. I'm lazy, I guess. So this is kind of the dreaded part. This and then flipping out the corners. Oh, I hate that part. I don't know why, I just don't like it. I think if I brought my other machine over here, I would be better about it. I just hate that I have to like sit here and cut these threads. It bothers me. My machine has been doing this like every day now. I think I need a new one, but when this happens, I just turn it off. And then what I do is just, I raise it down a little bit and I pull this out. And I don't pull the fabric, I just cut it. I don't know why it's doing this. It's just been getting caught. And see, now it's fine. And what happens every time is my thread breaks right here. So there's thread coming through here and down here, but nothing up here. So what I do is I cut it right here because you never want to pull your thread through or up. And I just take it out and I just recalibrate. Take out my bobbin and see this piece right here? It's like in there. And I don't know why it's been doing that. So I take this piece out. For the last week now, it's been doing that. It's like getting caught in here. And I've cleaned it and everything. I think it's just old. I need a new one. But this is what I started with. I love this one. So I never cut this right here. I always leave it like that until I pull the thread. I'll show you. So my needle is, I can always tell if it's off when this piece right here doesn't go through. There. Like it hits something. So then I always put this on, and then I just do my needle down and back up, and then I pull this through right here. And then I come over here and I cut it. And then you're all set again. I don't know why it does that, but it's annoying. It's getting stuck. Why is it doing that? I think it loosened. I don't know. Okay, hold on. Okay, there's my bobbin thread. I know I just said don't do that, but this is frustrating. See, I don't have patience for this. I am like not patient when it comes to this. Maybe, let me see. I always keep my little screwdriver over here. I think this is loose, so I'm going to tighten it. There's always got to be some kind of fun on a live, I guess. I don't know. But now, look what it did to my tag. It made my tag all wonky. And I'm like really weird about that. I don't like it when it's weird like that. So I'm going to cut it off. And I never pull. Some people just like yank it off. I can't, because then it messes up my whole seam. And now that there's like a little like crease right there, I'm going to move it over a little bit, because then the needle is just going to keep getting stuck right there, which is probably what happened the first time because I put it in the same spot. So I'm going to move it over and up a little. It's on 1, and I move it over to like 5. There, now it's fine. It's just finicky. Move this up in there. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I can't tell you, but it's been doing that to me. So I think it's time for a new one. I've been talking to Connie at Scandies about I don't know, an industrial one, because I do sew a lot of clothing. So I think I'm going to upgrade to an industrial. My thread is always so staticky. Do you guys have that issue? Okay, work with me here. There we go. Okay, so we got this one, this one, this one. Okay. See, that's how it's supposed to work. Nice and easy. Okay. I'm going to go check my blanket out. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yeah, I need an industrial. I use this this machine. I'm surprised that it's just now acting up on me, because I use it so much every day. Same with that machine. I'm debating on going industrial on my serger and my regular sewing machine, because I use them so frequently. Like the way that Angela uses her embroidery machines is the way I use these. So I should probably get an industrial, but I'm scared. I don't know why, but I am. It's just trying something new. Just like I was scared when I got my embroidery machine, but like it was fine. It just took me like 3 days to figure it out, but 3 days like all day. Okay, so I'm gonna come show you what this looks like before I take everything off of it, and how like the back of it, see how the back caught the paper, the tearaway? So I tear this off separately, and this is tearaway as well, but it's sticky back. And then the front of it has water soluble on the front. So I don't know if you can see that really well, but the reason why I chose pink, and it shows up a lot better in person than it does on the camera. It's a different shade of pink over the dark flower, is because her backing is that color. So I always match the backing of my blanket with the thread choice that I use. Okay, so I take my water soluble off first, and I just gently like take it out. And then like at the end, when I'm about to pack it up, I'll go through each letter and make sure it's all out. And I don't wet this. I know like it's water soluble, so some people will spray it and then like use a rag or whatever and wipe it off. I don't, because this minky will get like, I don't know, not crusty, but like weird texture. So I don't touch it. So like I'm gonna leave it, and then I'll take my tweezers and I'll pick out the water soluble at the very end, because I'm not gonna waste my time right now and do that. And then I just take it and I tear off the stabilizer on the back. Just gently tear it out. And I don't like get every single little piece. I just tear what will come off, and then I leave the rest because it's inside the blanket and it'll wash away. But it mostly comes off anyway. And then I just do the same thing with this. And the sticky doesn't stick to this material like it does to like cotton, so it just comes right off, which is really nice. I just kind of shimmy it back and forth. Okay, so you can't really see it from there, but it's down here. And then we'll sew that up in a minute as soon as I get back over there. So I'm gonna put my next blanket on. Where did I put? So I pre-cut these, and I just stick like however many I need to do. I'll pre-cut them, and then I just put them in my. I love these like under the counter cubbies because they just like hold all my extra stuff that I need and keep it out of the way. And I actually found a couple of these under the cabinet cubbies. I found 2 of them at TJ Maxx. And then I found a couple other ones, the same exact ones, because I needed a couple more at Amazon. Okay, so this blanket goes with this. My Salone Grace. Okay, so my next blanket I'm gonna do, I already have it out here, right here. It's a big blanket. So this is, I do the same thing though. The name is just a little bit bigger, but that's okay. And I already got, so this is the one I'm doing. It's this material. I don't know if you can see that. And then the backing is my white faux fur. So I already pre-cut it. And then on all of my bigger blankets, well, this is my crib size blanket. So my whatever side, the name I always do on the right corner. So on my name or on these blankets, I'll put it down here. And then I'll put my tag over on this side because I want them opposite. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I keep saying that, but it's really hard to explain what you're thinking. So on my grid line on my cutting table, I line up the edge of my frame. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to try my best to explain it. But I line the frame up on one of the inch marks, and then I take, because this is a bigger blanket, and I don't want the name like way down in the corner down here. I want it like up a little more. So I'm going to overlap it a little bit, probably to like maybe like 1.5 inches over. So 1.5 inches over on the side, and then 1.5 inches over on the bottom. So this one can get a little tricky, but you just gotta take your time. Make sure it's even on both sides, so that's even. And then as soon as I get it even, I just tack it down. And then I just fold it like this until I get to the machine, because it'll go underneath. Sorry if you can hear me sniffing, I have allergies. So this is on the number 3. I'm going to put it on the 1 so it's in the middle. All right, sorry. There we go. Okay. Just shove the blanket under there. It's going to be fine. And then I just slowly, so you don't take it off the sticky, I just slowly like maneuver it back there underneath the needle so you don't catch it. I know I can do it this way, draped this way, but this way is just easier for me because I already know the angle of it and everything. And then once I get it back here, it's fine. Doesn't ever get caught or anything. I watch it. So these bigger blankets, I'll stand kind of by it because it's just a name. It's not going to take, it takes like maybe 10 minutes, not even. And I just kind of put this back here. But same process. I do the underneath. Now this one, I'm going to put 2 underneath here because this one does have 2 names. So I'm pushing one up all the way as far as I can go. But over like to this corner because that's where the first name's going. And then the second name is going to go underneath of it like at an angle. So I'm basically just covering the perimeters underneath here. And then I need my water soluble. And I'm just using, I use black on this one because you'll see how pretty it turns out when you see it at the end. It's beautiful. Okay. So that's my number 10. First I got to look for the name. And this one is the long name. Swan Grace, where is she at? There she is. I'm just doing the dimensions on here, if you guys are wondering. So every time you have to go back in here and press the C frame. And I don't know why it's, okay, hold on one second. It is getting up the wrong file name for some reason. And I want Slow and Grace, not Paola. We just did Paola. So I want Slow and Grace. Okay. There we go. Okay. So get my ruler out. Now this one's going to be different because it is a bigger name. So instead of marking it like right here in the middle, I'm going to move up an inch and do it on that square. When you look at the grid, you'll know like where the 45-degree angles are. I think I'm going to do a video on that because it's confusing. Okay, so, okay, close. And then we're going to do color number 10. Okay. And then I'm going to trace it on my needle 1. And I want it to go up a little, up a little, up a little. Okay, so now because it is a big name, it's literally like a square. So I'm going to trace the whole thing just to make sure that okay, these fell out. Okay, so now what I do after that, I know that it's not going to hit any of my sides. I hate tracing all the way around because then it messes everything up. But you kind of have to with these big names. So now I'm just going to do my down at my corner piece. So it's going to go right there, which leaves, it's pretty good, yeah. Okay, I think we're pretty good. All right. So we're done with that. I'm gonna go, okay. Now I'm just going to fix this since it messed it all up. Make sure it's all up here. I don't like using clips because they always like get in the way. So I just do this and it works fine. Once you start, once it starts sewing, it's tacked down, so it's fine. Okay, so that's tacked down. It's gonna be so pretty. Wish I could bring you guys over and show you. This is the only cotton blanket that I sell. All my other blankets are minky. And the reason why I've kept this one is because it's one of my best sellers and it's beautiful. But when it's backed with the minky, it's so gorgeous. I can't leave this one because I don't want it to get caught underneath because it's so big. But it's really quick stitch out. And actually with this one, I hope you guys can hear me. and I hope I'm not yelling. But with this print, I used 2 different cursive fonts. So for the first name of Sloan, because I wanted the cursive to be swirly, I used the Sarah, I think that's what it's called, and or the Stitchtopia Sarah font. And then on the underneath one, I think I used Kristen, but it was also a cursive one, and it was so pretty. So the G underneath of it isn't as swirly, but it connects kind of to it. I'll show you when it's done. So you can mix and match your fonts like that. It took me a while to get the tension down on the machine, but now that the tension's good, like I don't ever mess with it. And actually I know like if it's off, I know like how, like when you pull it, you'll know like how it should feel. It was really tricky for me at first to get the angle right, like on the blankets, and get it the same way every time. Especially for the loveys, because they're a lot smaller. I hope you guys are having a good conversation over there. I literally haven't read like any of the chat. Sorry about that. Looking good. When you see me do this, I'm just checking the barriers and then also to see like on the screen like how far it's gonna go so I can kind of get an idea what it's gonna look like. I have never heard this name and it's so beautiful. I think that's one of the best things I like about doing the personalized section in my shop is that you get to see the turnout of such beautiful names and like just hear or seeing like what people come up with to name their children. It's amazing. Like I would never think of some of these names that I hear. So we're on the G and Grace right now. So we only have 4 more letters after this. So it'll be quick. The reason why I'm holding it on this side is because I don't want it to like fall down and then pull while it's stitching. I might have to put this one up as my profile pic after I do this. It's so pretty. 3 more. Sorry, guys. Also in Brilliance, I overlap my letters. So like this one it's doing right now, I've overlapped them, but you can't tell when it stitches out. It literally just goes right over it. I see the chat going, so I keep looking over to make sure it's still on. It hasn't disconnected. This is the only bad part about doing the big blankets is I have to stand here with it. The small ones I can put it on and forget about it, but these ones I have to hold. But we're on our last letter now. Almost there. Finished. All right. I'm going to take it off of the hoop so I can bring it over and show you guys. So give me 2 seconds. So this one I do spritz. Sorry, my garage is opening. This one I do spritz with water at the end because it's cotton, so it's fine. I just spritz a little bit and then if I need to. Okay, almost there. This one has a lot of little curves. Good night. Love you. Sorry, that was my brother. All right, almost done. So I'm just getting my tweezers in between like the curves of the letters because it's a long name. So there's a lot of little pieces. And I used 2 layers of the water soluble because it was a big name. You don't have to use 2, but it does make a difference in the stitch out. I promise you. Stitches out so beautiful when you use water soluble. Even if you like, you don't have to use it on cotton because it won't sink into the fabric on cotton, but it does make a difference, I promise. Okay, and I'm going to come over and if you guys have any questions, I'm going to sit down for a second with you right when I get over there. Okay. So then always make sure, don't forget to tear off the backing because you don't want to rip this tearaway off with the sticky back because that's just like too much tearaway. You'll ruin the stitch out. So just do one at a time. Okay. Now it's a lot of stabilizer, but it's worth it in the end. So the sticky back, it doesn't stick to this blanket, but it does stick a little bit more to this blanket than it does to the minky because it is cotton. So you just have to know that. Okay. So pretend like I have the backing on it and everything. So this is the name. Hold on, let me get it up on me. Can you see that? And so see all of, let's see all of the little white speckles in there? That's the stabilizer, the sticky back. And what I'll do at the very end is just spritz it with a water bottle, and then I'll, with a microfiber cloth, I'll gently, like the way that the thread is going, I won't go up and down because that'll make it fuzzy. I go the way the thread is going and just gently rub over it, and then all that water soluble will come off, and it'll leave the black like super black. So this is her blanket, and then the backing is going to be white. So this is what the back looks like. And I'll take this out right here. I mean, you don't have to, but it'll come right out. It's so pretty. I love that. All right, I'm gonna move this so you're not looking at the side of me. Do you guys have any questions while I'm here with you? So my loveys are actually smaller than normal ones. I make them 11 by 13. And then I have the extended tab at the top. So like a lot of people will just make them the square or whatever size they do, and then they'll just take the corner and like fold it down. But I actually make like a tag up at the top to fold it over so it does not take away from the square or rectangle. So they're 11 by 13. And I just made my own like tag up at the top. I just made it up so that I literally like took a piece of fabric and cut it and then stuck it through a ring, and I just did it to the way that I liked it. So it's completely customized. On the back of this blanket, Don, I'm doing white. I'll go grab it so you can see it real quick. It's super pretty. I use all, so I get my minky off of fabric.com. I just made a huge order of it. I'm getting some pretty colors in. But this is the white that I use. So I use all of the same. This is the minky. This is the only kind I use, and I use the same kind on all of my blankets. I do use some of the dimple dot on some of my blankets, but not usually. It's mostly this kind. Is it bright? I'm sorry. Should I move it? Is that better? I do need a coffee bar. Actually, I'm going to take a drink of my coffee. I had my daughter go with me to Walmart earlier because I needed to go get some like applique stuff, like scissors and stuff. So we hit up Starbucks on the way home. So yeah, that minky is my favorite. I use it on everything. It's just so soft. And I just make my, like, you just want to like cover your butt when like people with like care instructions, because it is a fur, a faux fur. And then also all of my clothing is organic material. And so on every single piece of item that I send out, unless it's like I still send a care instruction card out for those, but it's completely different. But I always put dry naturally. And sorry, I just hit the mic. Sorry, showing some skin there. um, so I always, just to be safe, I always tell them to dry naturally. I personally don't dry maybe a handful of my clothing, my own clothing, I dry naturally. All the rest I throw it in the dryer because just me, I have 4 kids, and I'm like, if it's not worthy enough to go through the dryer, then it shouldn't be worth it. Just because I'm busy. But as a business owner, I want them to know how to take care of it and do it the right way. So at least I know in my mind that I told them how to do it right. So if they can't come back and say, well, it didn't wash right, well, then did you put it in the dryer on high heat? Because you can't put faux fur on high heat, it will melt. So yeah, my sister did that and her lovey got ruined. I'm like, well, what'd you do? And she's like, I just washed it. And I'm like, well, did you dry it? And she's like, yeah, I just threw it in the dryer. I'm like, you can't do that. The ring teethers, I purchased it's beech wood, and it's organic beech wood, and I get it from an Etsy shop. Her name is, I think, Princess Bead Supply. I get all of my silicone beads from her. I used to order from in a shop online called Chomp Chewy. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they went out of business because of COVID, unfortunately. So I did order from both of those companies, and now I just solely order from Princess Bead Supply. And I get all my silicone beads there, all of my beechwood beads there. I get all my rings, like most of my teeter attachments, like for pacifier clips. I get my clips, actually. I get from her too. Pretty much everything. There are a few animal attachments that I get from other places. Like if I randomly find a beech wood that matches all the wood color that I have, I might order a little bit, like a sample, to see if it goes with everything. And if it does, then I'll order it if I like it. But mostly just her. The sheet protectors that I use for my orders. You mean the vinyl pockets that I use to put my orders in with the pattern after I cut it out? Are you talking about those? I have never tried making clothing. How long does it typically take to make a romper or baggy leg? So leggings literally take me from cutting out to finishing maybe 20 minutes. They're super fast. Rompers take a little more time, probably like 30 minutes, because there's so many parts to them. So, I mean, you can make them however you want, but I add in a layer of a liner on the front of the romper and the back of the romper. So that's 4 pieces right there. And then you have your 2 cuffs that you have to put on. And then I tack my liner to my body of the romper. So that's an extra step, and then I press it, and then I put my cam snaps on. And there are 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. There's 8. So each piece gets 2 cam snaps. So 2, 4, 6, 8 different cam snaps on each romper. But there's 2 parts to each snap. So it's a lot of snapping. So the snapping takes a little bit. Like if if all 4 of these rompers are done and I go to snap them, that snapping on all 4 of them is probably going to take me at least 15 minutes just to do that. So rompers do take a little bit longer. I try to do them all at the same time. I do not wash my fabric. And I actually put that in all of my descriptions. I put that when I message. So whenever somebody orders, I try. I can't say that I do it 100% of the time. But whenever I get an order for clothing, I'll say, I'll message them. And I kind of have I don't know, what do they call it? A snippet. And it just says hi there, thank you so much for your order. It means the world to me. Blah, 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 whatever you want to say to personalize it. And then I'll say, I just want to let you know, I do not pre-wash my fabric because of allergies and whatnot. So If it looks big to you at first, it's because it has not been washed. So they are true to size after, and I put in all caps, after the first wash. And then after they wash it, it's true to size. My pink snap press over here, I got off of Etsy, and it's where I order all of my, I get all of my snaps from the same place. And her name is I Love Big Buttons, all one word, and each, so I is capitalized, L is capitalized, and then the B in big is capitalized, and the B in button is capitalized. I can link it for you, but it's all one word. I Love Big Buttons. And I got my press and all of my can snaps from her. And they're all size 20. You can find them on Amazon too. Like if I'm in a rut and I need like a black or a white, if I'm running low and I just need them like in 2 days, I'll order them on Amazon. They're the same thing, but when I order in bulk, I order them from her. Okay. Yes, please give this video a thumbs up, guys. It really helps for other people to see my content, and I'm trying to grow this channel so that I can get, my goal is, I've reached halfway to my goal this month. Well, for till the end of February, I have a goal to get 1,000 subs, and that is so that I can use my phone because I have a good tripod for my phone, and I want to be able to bring you guys around to each station so you can get up close with me because I do a lot of different work, and I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So, thumbs up. Thank you guys. Have you ever had a customer return an item they purchased? Actually, I am so thankful. I have never, ever had a returned item. I have had someone say, if it doesn't fit my child, can we exchange? And I go back and forth on that because I don't really know the right answer to that. But of course, if they don't like it and it hasn't been washed or worn, I will exchange it for a different size because I can always press it and resell it. So I know, obviously I make my own patterns. So if they have washed it, I will know. If they've worn it, I will know. But I've never had anyone exchange anything. I've never had anyone return anything. Like just today, I get lots of messages saying, what are the measurements on the thighs or the waist or this or that, like on a specific item, because their baby's either thinner or chunkier, so they want to make the right move. And I always give them advice on it because I know like my patterns fit. But also I do different variations of pictures on my listings so that people can see, oh, like one person asked, the chunkier baby in your pictures of your bummies or your picture of your romper with this print on, what size was she wearing? And like, I know what size to offer that client, or I would say the client, the customer. I used to be a hairstylist, so I call everyone clients. So anyway, long story short, I always am able to give out advice on what size they should get for their child. And again, if I gave them the wrong size, I offer them to exchange it because that's on me, not on them, because I'm the one that told them what size. So what did I put behind your cam snaps? Oh, so on here, you can probably see it better on this one. Well, not really because they're all white, but you can probably kind of see like a little square. So this whole area right here, I just cut my, where is it? It's over there. I can't get it, but it's my no-show poly mesh. And it's the same thing that you use for embroidered shirts. On the back, it's like a fusible mesh and it doesn't show through the fabric. It's super flexible and soft. And so I like that a lot better than like the Pellin paper one that fuses on because it's not as hard. It's very soft and you can't see it through the fabric. So I use that behind my snap so it gives it more stability when you're like taking off and on the romper, changing a diaper or changing clothing or whatever, like the wear and tear, it keeps it sturdy. Who's going to bed? Connie? Good night, Connie. Thank you for coming. Sorry it's so late. It's already 10. My time. Probably 12 o'clock your time. No problem. Is there any more questions? The black vinyl bags. Sorry, I'm doing this again. Okay, so these bags, I've already pre-did this. I did this before my live because I didn't want to have to worry about the address. So these are the bags I use. I print out my, this is my order. And then what I do is after they're cut, all 6 of the pieces to the romper, because there's two liners, 2 body parts, and 2 leggings. I roll it up like this, and then I stick it inside of here. And these are, I found them on Amazon. I've linked them in, if you look at, I think any of the last 2 or 3 videos that I posted, they're linked in there. And they're just called my, my vinyl packing slips, or I don't remember what they're called, but I linked it. They're on Amazon. I think they come in a pack of 12, and I can't remember the price of them, but they, if you need organization for your orders, these are the key. They keep me sane. I have them everywhere, but I never lose anything because I cut it out and put it in there. So it's always like taken track of. Yeah, I mean, I suggest those to everyone, no matter what kind of business you're in. You keep your order in there, and then if you're doing fabric or even like my teethers, when I make like a teething ring or a pacifier clip, and it goes with a clothing item, like as a whole order together, if someone's buying a gift or whatever, I make the teether first, I stick it in the bag. That way I know that that part of the item or that part of the order is already done. And then I just have to make the clothing. So that I just keep putting the pieces in that bag. And then at the end, when I go to package them up, it's all there. Do you cut the fabric to order, or are they already cut first, and when the order comes, you just sew them? I actually do not pre-cut my orders or my fabric. I cut them as they come in because my fabric, I always say this, my fabric's organic, it's very expensive, and I don't want to waste it. So when an order comes in, I cut it, but I don't, like, if someone ordered right now, I wouldn't print it out and cut it right now. Like, I wait, I give it a day, and then I print all my orders out, and then I cut all my rompers out at one time. I cut all my bummies, all my leggings, like, and so on and so forth. So I do it like that. So if I have, like right here, there's 3 9 to 12 month rompers. So I cut all of these out at the same time. I just grab my print that I need. I have all my fabric over here. I grab it. I have my template that I need to cut, and then I cut them all at the same time. Because if I do pre-cut, say I'm like, okay, I'm going to make 3 9 to 12s, 3 18 to 24s, this and that. And then what if I never get an order for that size? And then it's just sitting here. And then I get an order for a size 9 to 12 months, and I don't have any more of that fabric left. Then I'm like out of luck. I have to wait to order it and wait for it to come in. So I don't ever pre-cut my stuff. Kelly showed them on her live yesterday. She's using for her orders. Yes, she asked me where I got them. So good. I'm glad she got them. So the Teflon sheets also are from Amazon. I think I linked those as well, but they're called upper and lower platen covers, and they're amazing. You can get them for whatever size your heat press is. Mine's a 15 by 15. So when I do screen print transfers, it calls for no Teflon sheet. I literally just take it right off because it just attaches to the corners up here. I can show you if you can see it. It literally just comes right off like that. And then you can just put it right back on when you need to put it back on. And I got it for the lower and the upper, so I would never have to worry about it. I still use an extra Teflon sheet when I press my applique product, like my shirts, my birthday shirts and stuff, because I use that heat press for everything in my shop. If you've watched my videos, you know that I heat press everything. So just to be extra safe on my white shirts that I do use an extra designated Teflon sheet for just that shirt. Selling baby toys on Etsy. I thought that it was not allowed, but I'm thinking Amazon. Okay, so I have been on Etsy for about 3 years now. I've had no issues until I think about a month ago now, maybe a month and a half. All of a sudden, I woke up one day and I had an email from Etsy saying they took down 31 of my listings, and they were all my teethers. So all of my teething rings, all of my pacifier clips, like everything to do with my silicone teethers, they took down. They didn't even tell me. They literally just took them down. So those were a really, really big seller for me. And I just, like, I don't want to put them back up because, yes, I can go in there and change the description and the titles and all that to kind of go behind the scenes. I don't want to risk it. So I just let it be. I'm not doing it. I also have a website, so I just sell them on my website and they're just as good there. So I just let that be. Like, I'm not going to mess with that. Where do I buy my what? No problem. You guys can ask me anything you want. I'll tell you whatever. So my, I guess, philosophy is I'm not, I'm an open book. So if you want to know something, just ask me. I'll tell you. Like, I'm not one of those people who are going to hide any information because everyone has to learn from somewhere. And to me, if somebody likes my stuff, they're going to buy from me. If somebody likes your stuff, they're going to buy from you. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own taste. So I'm not afraid to give out information. I'm not afraid to help anyone if they need help. That's why I started doing these live tutorials, because it makes me happy to teach people what to like, because I didn't have that help. I literally taught myself everything. I'm completely self-taught. So like, I want to give back and help people that are struggling or like can't figure something out, and it's just a stupid button, or like just something super simple that they can't figure out. And it's like, oh, I know that. I can help you. Like, I don't know. It just makes my heart happy to be able to do that. Thank you, Sandy. You're the same way. I just wish we were all like that, because, like, honestly, if I have a question, I'm honestly, like, honest to God, like, I'm scared to ask people because I think about it and I like go to message them, like if I'm interested in something they have, and I'm like, I want to know, like, where did they get that, or where did they find it? I really like that, or like whatever the case may be. And then I pull back because a lot of people don't give information out, and it's like, it's discouraging because it makes you feel bad. So I don't want anyone to ever feel bad about asking me anything. So shoot, I want to answer. Yeah. And I feel like all of us that do watch each other on here learn so much from each other. And we all help each other. And we all are just so grateful of having each other's friendships on here. It's like we know each other, but we don't. Yeah, 30. I'm reading up on the comments because I didn't get to some of them. But yeah, 31 listings. Yeah, so um, I do have a separate website, beingabliss.com. I'm not actively using it as of right now because it is being relaunched. I talked to my marketing lady this morning, and she said, give me 3 more days and it should be like up and running. So I'm super excited that hopefully, fingers crossed, next Monday I can announce that my website is up and running. So I'm still going to be on Etsy because Etsy's like, they market themselves. It's easy sells. Like, I'm never probably going to go off that path, but I will have my website too. So there you go. Yeah. Yes, I watch a lot of you guys that are on here right now. Like, I watch your guys' videos and I pick stuff up from you guys too. Like, It's not that, you know, I don't get knowledge. I don't much from other people too. Like that's how I learned. Like I learned a lot. Like I learned how to embroider from watching Angela's videos. Like she taught me a lot. Um, who else? Like, I mean, I can just keep going on and on about who I learned from, but and it's not like I picked up everything from one person. Like you know, you watch people and you just pick up, you know, little hints here and there from every video you watch. And it's like, oh my gosh, I should try that. And then you end up just doing it. Like Carly Bell, I watched all of her videos. And actually, she's the one who taught me how to make my baby stuff, like my baby shirts, my applique shirts. And she's the one I learned to use no-show poly mesh stabilizer instead of just like a cutaway or a tearaway, like on my baby onesies, so that it wasn't so harsh on the baby's skin. So it's just little things like that that you watch other people's videos and you learn from them. Yeah, exactly, Jenny. You should, Leslie. If I hope that's your name, just do it. I mean, it can't hurt. Just do it and have fun with it. Like that's what I do. I just have fun with it. If it, you know, you get, and Etsy is weird too. Some days you'll get 0 sales, and then the next day you'll get 9 sales, and then the next day you'll get 2 sales. Like it's just like up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like a game that they play with you, but it's exciting. Exactly. I'm like, I'll be laying in bed, like watching a video, and then I'll see something. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I think of that? Like, I should totally try that next time. And then I do, and I'm like, how did I never not know that? Like, it's so funny. Okay, so I'm gonna start sewing these now. I hope that do you guys still want to watch me do this, or do you want me to end it and then we can do a tutorial next week? What do you guys want? Have you guys thought of what you want for next week? Would you rather see me, if you guys are gonna stay, would you rather see me sew up these blankets or sew up these rompers? Either way, I'm doing both tonight, so whichever one you guys want to see. I used to, Dawn, I used to do the make a casing every time, but now that I've known, since I've taught myself how to do the one that I taught on the tutorial last week, I don't ever do a casing anymore. It just takes up too much time. Sew blankets. Can you do a baby hat? Like the beanies? Washing dishes. Okay, how about this? I'm gonna sew one of these rompers really quick, and we can test and see how long it actually takes to sew up one of these rompers, and then I'll do a blanket. That way you guys each get like one of each. So I'm gonna turn you guys over here, and hopefully it's not too bright. I'm gonna get situated real quick. Let me know if the light is too bright because it is really bright. I can try to move you guys up here closer. Okay, I'm gonna move you up here without disconnecting anything. Moving you guys all around, trying to find a good spot. Okay, is this good? Yeah, the stabilizer is called No-Show Poly Mesh, and it's fusible. Fusible No-Show Poly Mesh. And I get it on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. I got like a huge roll of it. I can link it. I'll look tonight, and if I did, I'll put it under my description so you guys can have it. Okay. So again, I do not pin. I have been sewing these for so long that I don't pin. I just sew. I hope that I'm going to kind of turn it this way because the light, this is so bright for you guys. I'm so sorry. Nope, that's worse. So fusible means heat activated. So if you put it on a fabric, and so I put it on, like, say this is the fusible mesh. You put it on, I heat press it. There's a shiny side that I put down, and the shiny side has like a glue adhesive on it. And so when you heat it, it activates the heat glue and it sticks to whatever you're putting it to. And so then it looks like, you can't really see it, but see that square on there? You can see the line right here. So then it like fuses to the fabric and then it makes it thicker. So like this just feels like regular fabric. And then this right here is just a lot, not even thicker, but just more stable. Like it's not, I can't rip it now. Like there's no way I can rip that. This, if I really wanted to, I could tear it, not tear it, but like I could peel it. But with the stabilizer, you can't do anything with that. Okay. Trying to see, this is this way. See, I messed myself up because I put them all together. So I don't, like I said, I don't pin. So I just put it under here and I sew away. I just make sure that the seams are all lined up. And then I don't cut it. I just pivot and turn. And then I turn this. The camera's right here, so my outfit's getting all caught up in there, but I want you to kind of see what I'm doing. So I don't ever cut it and take it out. I just keep going. And then the middle pieces, I just line up because I can see where the divot is in the middle right here. It's like a lot of patterns will have notches. And I don't have a notch. I just have like a little tiny piece where I can tell where the center mark is. I don't like to put notches in my patterns. So I just kind of pull it back. Straighten it out. So see how these take a while? Like you have to sew the liner on first, and then you have to sew the other liner on, and then you sew the two body pieces together, and then you sew the cuffs on, and then you iron it or flip it out, and then you pin it, iron it, pin it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I had a question on, somebody messaged me about cutting the corners, and they said, if you cut the corners, won't you get a hole? So if you see where these two meet right here, right here is where the threads meet. I don't know if you can see that, but the threads meet right here. If I cut it diagonally above this point, there won't be a hole. It just takes away the bulk. So I just carefully cut it at an angle, enough to where it takes off the bulk, but enough to where it leaves it's still attached. So then I set this aside. And now I do the other piece, which is the back, the liner in the back. just line them up. And I'm lifting my presser foot up after each time. Line my two corners up. Or my point, I mean, in the middle. Now my corners. And I just grab in between the two layers and pull. And you want to go with like the curve of it. So it's hard to explain, but like I'll show you right here when I go down the other way. So like when I get to here, it's going to go straight and I just kind of like turn it with it. I'll show you. So this is all straight. And then I readjust, grab my corners, making sure it's all lined up. And then I just kind of turn as I'm going with it. Make sure that's all straight. And then I see my hand, I'm like pushing it sideways. And you just turn with it. See, I don't use these scissors for the corners because they like, well, it worked that time, of course. But like most of the time it does that. See how it like slipped off because it's too thick? I don't know. It just doesn't cut right for me. So now I have a front and a back. And then you just line these up and you make sure that these two seams right here are exactly lined up. Can you guys see that? Those two seams right there. Are you talking about my fabric? I get all of my fabric from Spoonflower. And I just look up. So like if I'm looking for new prints, like say I just wanted to find a boy Easter print. So the other day I went on there and I just said Easter prints for boys or whatever. And then it'll say in fabric, in wallpaper, blah, blah, blah. So I do in fabric. And then I put in, when it's in fabric, I just put in organic. And then organic cotton knit will come up. And that's the exact one that I get every time. So I go slow over the seams because they're bulky. And I don't want to break a needle. When I get like almost halfway, I stop, readjust, and I grab the bottoms of my legs just to make sure they're not off. Because sometimes the teeth underneath will, like the fabrics will kind of unalign on the bottom. So you want them always to be the same length. And to help that, I always have my hand right here pushing it like forward. Not hard, but just guiding it. And I never cut this piece off because I'm tucking that in at the end. And then I think I told you guys I'm weird. I like my my seams, my serged edges to be the same on the, so like I call this my pretty side. I don't know if you can see that. So this is my pretty side. And that's my, I don't know if you can, hold on. Can't really see it, but that's my non-pretty side. And so I want them to be the same. So I flip it over, but then I flip it upside down. So I start at the ankle instead of up by the neck or the shoulder, whatever you want to call it, so that they're on the same side. That's just me. I'm just weird and like everything to be the same. I have like OCD about stuff like that. So now that I'm halfway, I'm making sure that these two right here are exactly the same lined up. And I'm going to pinch those so that they stay the same. Now that that's under there, I'm going to pinch these two corners so that they're the same. Give it a little push. Go slow. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure I'm doing it on the right side and do my crotch seam. Line up your corners. See these two like little divots? I just kind of make them really tiny so that I can see where the middle is. And I just turn as you go with it. Okay, so that's sewn up. I always have this little handy dandy magnet up on my desk right here with my needle. It's my wide, what do they call it? I don't know. It's a big needle. And then I tuck these in. I pull it through. You don't have to do this, but I do it because I want it extra secure. And I just do it like an inch down. I just pull it through here. And I cut it off. Don't mind my nails. I need to go get them redone. But I always pull this up because if I don't do that and then I pull it through, it has a big like ball at the top right here, and I don't like that. So that's why you'll see me pulling it up like that. And then I just stick it through the top of the needle right there. And then I just like pull it through here. And then it just like slides through like nice and easy. And then I just cut off the excess right here. And there you go. So then at this point, now I'm going to put my cuffs on, which they're over here. I haven't turned them out yet. When I sew up a lot of these, I turn all my cuffs at the same time. I'm about to sneeze, sorry. Excuse me, sorry. This is a non-directional fabric, so you don't have to worry about what way the fabric's facing. But if this was, so like, let me show you on the mermaids. Actually, you'll be able to see it more on the donuts. So the donuts look like a non-directional, but they really are a directional. The frosting goes on the top of the donut. So you want to make sure that the frosting is on the top of the donut. So they're the right way right now. This is the wrong way. So if they were this way and I sewed it on in there like that, they would come out upside down. So this is the top of the donut. That's the bottom of the donut. And I know by looking at it, the raw edges are on the top of my fingers up here, and the fold is on the bottom. So if you think of it as this is the baby's foot, or if you're looking at the baby like this and you can see their ankle, the bottom, the pretty part of the cuff needs to be facing down towards the ground, because this is the piece being attached to the body. So your raw edges go up. So in that case, if this is upside down, all you do is flip it inside out, and now you have it right side up. So hopefully that makes sense. I think this one is like 200 or 300. I can't remember. It was so long ago that I got it. I got this on Amazon though. I get literally everything on Amazon. Except for my fabric, I get on Spoonflower or fabric.com. All of my shirts I get from AG Blanks. All of my teethers I get, or my like silicones attachments and stuff I get from Etsy. Same with my cam snaps. Like I said, if I'm in a bind, then I'll do Amazon for some things, but all of my like supplies that I need, like scissors and like, I don't know, I got these on Amazon. Like just like stuff like supplies that you need, I get on Amazon or the stores. I get all of my spools of thread at Joann's. I usually get them when they have them like buy two, get one, or buy one, get one. I haven't been there in forever, so I don't know if they're having a sale right now or not, but I need to go there tomorrow and get more because I literally went through 2 spools in one day last week. It was crazy. That never happens. So I just attached my cuffs. I match the seams up with the clips, and the clips I do in the middle this way. I put one on the seam, and then I put one down on the other, so they're in center points on each side of the leg, and that's how I do it. Then I stretch it a little bit and put it underneath. Doesn't matter where you start out sewing it, and I go in at an angle right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't go straight on. I go at an angle. And then I stop and readjust. And you always want to make sure you can see 3 layers of fabric. And when I go over that middle seam right there, I go slow because I don't want it to break a needle because it's so thick right there. Just readjust, readjust. Cut that off. Grab the end, and I do the same thing on everything because I don't want it to ever come unraveled. So then I just tuck it in here like that, pull it through. It gets caught when I don't pull it like I told you guys before, how I pull it like that. It's so that it doesn't get caught like that. Then I just cut it off, and then you have your cuff. No, you guys can't see that very well. So then I do the other one. And I always line my seam up with the crotch seam. And they go inside the legging. Or the leg, not the legging. This is a romper. And I make sure my pretty side of the seam is laying flat. Stretch it a little bit so it's not too hard to stretch on here, because it is kind of hard to stretch on here. Because this material isn't that, I mean, it's stretchy because it's knit, but it's not like super stretchy. Make sure your needle is down when you go to adjust so that it doesn't like pop out. I just take my thing off, my clip off, and then readjust. Make sure all your seams are lined up so you're not missing any, because if you do not get all 3 layers, it will leave a hole. Just give it a little push underneath there and go slow. See how it like got like harder right there? It's because it was thick. So I always take the time to do this. I know I say that every time, but you don't want your client or customer, I don't know why I say client, to wash it and then it come unraveled. So I just always like make sure that I do that. And sometimes it gets stuck like this because there's a lot. I didn't cut it enough. And I just pull it through like that. Cut it off, and then you have your other cuff. And I always make sure that it's caught right here and then on the inside right there so that there's no hole. I don't know if you can see that. But see how it caught right there? And then it caught right there? And the same thing right here. And then right here, you want to make sure that's like in there. Otherwise, it won't be good. Okay. So now what I do is I take the liner and I fold it over. Whichever way my tags are, I fold it over that way. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. That's just how I always do it. And then I go over to my standard sewing machine and I do a straight stitch down right here. And then I flip it this way because you want it to be the same way. And then I take it and then I do a straight stitch down on here, just like down the middle. And then that way it's tacked together. And then when you go to flip it inside out, this isn't all floppy. It's tacked down. It's not going to go anywhere. Because I discovered doing that because I didn't do it in the beginning. And then when I would go to fold them after doing my son's laundry, it was like everywhere. I'm like, why does it do that? And so then I realized I needed to tack it down. So that's why I do that now. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to go sew a blanket now because you guys wanted to see that. Actually, I'm just going to finish this romper really fast because there's not much more to it. I'm going to go to this sewing machine right here and sew it. Mine, I have to thread in order or it doesn't work. First the threads. Yes. Are you talking about the serger? Yeah, you have to thread them in order. I think I watched, Gabby, you didn't have to thread yours in order. Mine get all messed up if I don't thread them in order. Hi, Kelly. How are you? I didn't even know you were on here. Okay, so I'm going to finish. Do you backstitch or just sew down on the romper? What I'm about to do right now? This piece right here, do I backstitch on there? I always backstitch if I'm doing a straight stitch or a zigzag. I always backstitch because if you don't backstitch, then it's just going to come unraveled. So you want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to come over here now. And hopefully my machine doesn't give me a hard time. Okay, so all I'm doing is, like I said, I take it wherever my tags are. I grab this piece right here on each side and I just fold it over. And then I just line it up. I'm on 5. I move my needle over a little bit so it's not like directly in the middle. So I backstitch and forward stitch at the top and bottom. I cut my strings. This is my little trash can right here. I have this little like cubby and half of it is my tags. Excuse me. And then the other half I just throw my strings in and then I empty it at the end of the day because I don't have room over here for a big trash. But I have little trash cans like everywhere. I have one over there, I have one there, behind you. They're everywhere. Backstitch. Backstitch. Okay, so then at this point, after I do say all these were done, then I would do all of what I just did to each one of them. And then after that's all done, I go through and I pull out all the corners or the shoulder straps. And I don't do it like completely on each one. I just pull them out as much as I can right here at this moment. So I just take my fingers and kind of like pull it through. But see how these can take a little bit longer than just a pair of bummies or leggings because there's so many different parts to them. but that's why I charge more, because it takes time. It's a lot of fabric, like it's a lot of layers. So then after I got done doing all those, then I'll sit down and I use this right here. I don't know if you saw it. It's just a corner turner. I hope that's what it's called. I don't know. I think I told you guys in my last live or a video I made that I'm self-taught, so I don't know like the exact terminology for things. So I just make up my own words and hope that it makes sense. But I call this my corner turner because it pokes my corners out. And I just go, I don't like poke it super hard because you don't want to like poke a hole through it, but I just kind of move my, like roll my fingers on it and poke it out at the same time. And it just like points your corners like really, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it just nicely. Then I move along. I just do it, it's pretty quick because I do most of the turning with my hand in the beginning. So it doesn't take that long. Okay, so once that's done, I then see how now this is attached to the body and it's not like flopping everywhere. That's why I do that. Flip it inside out. If I can find the other leg. Okay, so then you have your now almost romper. So I have to iron it or press it, but then you just put your snaps on afterwards. But then like the liner, it's not going anywhere. Like it's literally, it's attached right here on the sides inside here. So it's not flopping everywhere. Okay, so then after I do that step, you guys aren't gonna be able to see me over here. I'm just gonna adjust my camera really quick. Two. Over there, okay. Okay, so see how I took this piece off right here? You just put it back on. Like you can take it on and off however you want. So I am a sole believer in heat presses. I press everything. I don't ever use my iron. I have a nice one right here. It's a Rowenta, however you say that. I just feel like, I don't know, heat presses just do so good. They look so professional. They make them look nice and flat, like no creases, no marks, nothing. So no spots or anything. Like sometimes the irons like splatter and whatnot. So I don't know. And it's just easy because I have it on anyway. So why not just use it? So I just kind of flatten it out. I make sure all my seams are rolled out because you don't want them tucked into the side of the legs. And then I don't have a certain amount of time. I just kind of press it till it gets to number 10, I guess, or however long I feel. And then it's nice and flat, and then I just kind of scoot it along. Just make sure my seams are pulled out. I always stick my fingers in the cuffs and make sure that the serged edge that we just sewed or serged is laying flat but like facing up, because you don't want it down and you don't want it you want them facing all the same way is what I'm trying to say, because when you go to flatten it, you want it to lay flat. If it is twisted, then it will bother the child. Like it'll be thick. So I just kind of do that. And then plus after you press it, you can tell if the seam is not the right way. And then it's just like super pressed. See how like pressed that is? Like after just like doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to put you right here because this is where I come and do, I'm going to move this around a little bit so you can see it a little more. Hold on 1 second. that okay? So then I use this. I think I showed you guys in my last video. It's just literally the Cricut weeding tool. And I use that to poke my corners. So I overlap it like maybe 3/4 of an inch, or how I just want my cam snaps to be on the very end right here. But I don't want to pull it all the way down here and snap it, because then you're going to have the snaps all the way down here on your shoulder strap. So you want them like here and here on each one. So I just do it. I don't have like a measurement thing for it. I just kind of eyeball it each time. And then don't get your fingers, because that hurts. I've done it before. But I just poke a hole. She sewed the sides down. Let's see, I missed. Yeah, so right here, Anita, the sides right here on the inside, this is the seam right here. So I sewed them down the side right here. If you flip it inside out, you'll see only the back side of the fabric. And then when you flip it right side out, this is how it looks. If you watch my romper tutorial, it goes like step by step how to do that part, because that part is the most confusing. I literally like had to do it myself over and over again, because I taught myself how to do it. And so like I kept getting frustrated because I would do it and then I would turn it inside out and it would be like completely like inside out wrong. So it's confusing. So I always use this color on this pattern. It's called Noodle. So it is not white. It is like a creamy off-white color. And I know I need 8 of the flat head ones. I don't know if that's what they're called, but 6, 7, 8. And I use this silicone mat. It's a Friskers silicone mat. And it just keeps like all of my stuff from slipping everywhere. So I have my pressed, my cam snap press on it. And then I always lay my snaps on top of it, and they don't like roll around or fly off or anything. So I always put 4 for my top, 4 for my bottom, which is, this is my bottom and this is my top, or front and back, however you want to call it. And then you need 4 female parts, which go on the front. So this is always my front and this is always my back. And then you need 4 male parts for the back. And I always close it, because you never know if you're going to hit it and then all your snaps are going to go everywhere. It's horrible. I always start with my back pieces, and you know which one's your back because it's the bigger one, the one that comes up top more. So then I just shake it, and I always start with the side one, farthest to the right. You can do it however you want. This is just my routine. The flatheads always go on the back of each one. So the back on that, and then the back here, because when you snap it, you want it to show like pretty like that. And so these are going to be the snap pieces, and these are going to be the snaps. And I always use the male end of the snap on the back pieces. Don't know why. That's just how I do it. And then you just snap away. Put some muscle into it, because you don't want them to come off. You want the inside, I'll show you. So when you snap it, you want the inside piece right there to be flat inside of there. And when you put it in here, this is what it looks like. Before you snap it, that's what it looks like. And then after you snap it, it's flat. So it's secure in there. But see how they're like right? So I can tell my seam, like where I serged it, is like right there. So I always put my hole like right underneath of it. And then they're even on both sides like that. And I didn't measure it. I just eyeball it, like I said. But you can do it however you want. feel like I'm talking a lot. Sorry, guys. I guess I had my coffee, so I'm chatty. And these ones are a little different in the front. They're, I guess, called the female parts. So they are a little more open. They look like this. So you can kind of see the background of it a little more. And that is so that they can snap into each other. And same thing like with these, like, I mean, they're a little off, but like nobody's gonna tell. So then you just snap it. And I always listen for that snap, because if it doesn't snap like that, then that means they're crooked or something's not right. So then there you go. There's your romper. And that's finished. So, I mean, obviously it would have been a little bit faster if I wasn't explaining all that stuff and stopping and talking, but did anybody time that to see like how long it was? $35. So it probably would have only taken me maybe like 25 to 30 minutes maybe if I wasn't talking and stuff. Maybe even faster, I don't know. But leggings are super quick. Leggings take me probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. Like if I run into an issue or like something went wrong with my machine or something like that. And I think bummies are even quicker because you don't have to do the elastic waist. You just do like the yoga waist. So those are way faster. Bummies probably take me 15 minutes max. Okay, I'm going to try to figure out how I can bring you over to see me sew my blanket. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to move you guys. So, if you get motion sickness, don't watch. I'm not moving the computer, so the cords won't detach and I won't disconnect. So, I'm just doing it very carefully. Okay. I've got to unplug this though. Do you guys still want to see me do the blanket, or is this live way too long? Okay, you're going to be looking up at the ceiling for a second, I think. Okay. I'm going slow. You guys are getting a tour of my shop as I slowly carry you around on a table. Without knocking over my camera. I think I'm doing pretty good. Okay. Sorry about the reflection. I'll fix that in a second. Tight squeeze. I think I got it. Okay. All right. Okay, now where do I put you guys is the question. I might have to. Okay, so I'm wanting to sew this blanket for you. I already have it all pinned, so that's a good thing. So I had a second blanket of the one that we just embroidered, except for this one didn't have a name on it. She just wanted a plain blanket with nothing on it. So she got the end of my bolt. So I didn't cut it. What I did was, I don't know if you can see this. Let me show you. I'm going to turn this light off. Sorry. There, I think that's better. So what I did was drew a line really lightly right here so that you can see the backing right here. I just did that so I wouldn't have to cut it and make an extra step. So that's why I did that. I try to just like do what I can as fast as I can. Okay. I'm gonna try to get you guys over on this other side because you can't really see over here. I want you to see over here. So I'm gonna move this. I'm trying, guys. Sorry. All right, we're getting there. Troubles of the camera live. Okay. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my computer charger so it doesn't turn off. That would not be good. So. I'm here, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to get everything situated. Okay. Computer's plugged in. We're good. Let me see. I'm going to tell me if this is too bright. Hold on. Yep, too bright. Sorry. These lights are so bright in here because I have to have them bright. So this is my Janome. I love this machine. This is what I started out embroidering with, except I'm really, really short. So I have this tall chair because this is actually my RV garage. So this is like a, I don't know, what is this part called in a garage? The tool area, the tool bench. But it has cabinets and everything that I need. So it's just perfect. Okay. Trying to see like what angle. Okay. All right. Do you guys have any questions for me before I start doing this? I'm going to tell you how I pin it. This is minky fabric, so it's very slippery. So what I do is I line them up, as you can see, going horizontally on the blanket. I used to pin them like going the opposite way, but I've noticed that when I pin them like this, it doesn't move as much. And then this second layer, I don't do it like spot on each one, but I go throughout the whole blanket and do a second layer. And I do that because the second layer is actually the pin that keeps it from shifting. So that second layer is crucial. And when I talk about second layer, I mean like this is the first layer. You can see this is the first layer right by the edge of the fabric, and this is the second layer. So this one is actually the one that helps it from moving anywhere. So you want to do that. Okay. So hold on, I'm going to put you guys back a little bit. Okay. I also, this table I have on here, this is my Sew Steady table. And you just get, I Googled like extension table and Sew Steady table came up. It's acrylic and they measure it to the size of your, or whatever machine you have. And I absolutely love it. Like my blankets, it's made me like be able to lay my blanket completely out. Well, not when I'm filming, I can't because the camera's right here. But I usually just lay it straight out, and then that is how I sew my blanket. So this is my blanket table. Okay. It took me longer to wash my dishes than I was talking. Okay, so why do you use this machine rather than your brother to sew your blankets? Because of my table. This table is giant. It's literally like, this is my sewing arm right here, and plus this right here, this whole area is literally huge. Like, I can fit a blanket in there, so it gives me so much arm room to like maneuver around it. And then this attachment, the table I have on here, lays the blanket flat, so it's not like hanging off the edge and heavy, because these blankets do get heavy because of the material. The minky fabric is kind of heavy, so that's why I use this machine. And then I just use my brother machine over there when I'm doing clothing, going back and forth, sewing on the tags and everything like that. This machine would probably do it faster because it is a better machine. I mean, I don't know if it's better, but like, it's a higher end machine. I don't know the right word for that. So, but it's over there by my serger, so I just go back and forth over there. Okay, so I have marked, I think I'm on the wrong corner. So I'm putting my tag over on this opposite corner. So my blanket, if you're holding it up long ways, I always have my tag. If it's right side out, I always have it on the right side. That's just how I do it and how I like my tag. So I'm going to start the blanket because it's inside out right now. I'm going to start it on the opposite corner because when I flip it inside out, I hope I'm making sense. Then the tag will be on the right side after flipping it out. So I'm starting, where did I put that? Over here. So the way that I mark it so I know is all of my pins, can you see all of my pins are going the same way? Except for this one right here, you probably can't see it on here. But this one I have going sideways, and that's how I know that that's where my tag's going to go right here. I'm going to leave this opening so that I can flip it. So that is where I'm going to start. And I just leave it. It's getting caught right there. Okay, so I just start like an inch down from there. You don't need a ton of room to flip these blankets because I always start in front of my pin right here. And then I just do the needle right in the middle. And I have a locking stitch on this machine. And so you'll see it'll go up and down like 3 or 4 times. And that means it's locking the stitch. And then with my minky blankets, the tension, I take it all the way down to like a 1. Because I don't want it pulling underneath here. So I keep it at 1. And also the length of my stitch, I make it all the way to a 4. And then my needle is like directly in the middle, which on my machine, it's a 4.5. Every machine is probably different though. So I'm going to start. If you have any questions, hold them until I get back to the computer. And then I just go slow because I'm going to take these needles out as I go. Where did I put my needle thing? It's over there. I can't reach it. Just going to set them over here. Okay. And I just pull them out as I go. So before, when I did my needles the opposite way, or my pins the opposite way, I could just like, I know you're not supposed to sew right over them, but I did. They're super fine needles, so it never got caught. But my fabric would move around too much. So I started doing it this way, and I haven't had any issues, but now I have to stop and go in between each one. And I also like to lift my minky up off of my sewing base, because that way it doesn't like move around either. It just it helps it from slipping, and I always stay right on the edge that way. See how I'm just like lifting it up a little bit? There are a lot of pins in here, so just be careful not to hit them. So I pull them out right before I get to them. And I'm grabbing my fabric right here and then holding the cotton fabric too, lifting it up but pulling too, so it stays nice and straight and taut, but not too tight. And when I get to this side, I just kind of maneuver my hands around. Take my corner out so that I can point it. Lift your presser foot and pivot. And then I always line it up right on the edge of the cotton fabric. So the edge of my presser foot is on the edge of the blanket. You guys probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to explain it. And then to get it started, I just lift it up and go. I'm holding this so that because it's all the blanket is down here, so I'm holding this right here so it's not heavy and it doesn't move the blanket. This does go a lot quicker when you're just doing it. Okay, again, I pull it flat, pull the corner one out. I hold it tight. Lift the presser foot and pivot. Pull this out. Readjust the blanket so it's not pulling one way more than the other. So you can see my stitches are like right there on the end. So I do that so I don't have to cut a bunch after I sew it. So I like to do it right on the edge like that. And then all I have to do is cut a little bit of fur off in the end. Just anything I can do to save time. Be careful not to poke yourself because there's so many pins. Just watch where you're putting your fingers because it does hurt when you poke yourself. Okay, so this part right here is going to be a little tricky because I have it marked off. But when I do this, I'll show you what I do. I do this quite often, actually. I'm going to undo all this right here. Make sure it's nice and straight. So now because my blanket has shifted just a tiny bit. See right here? I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little extra fabric. So I'm going to do, and I'm not going to take all of them off, but I'm going to take a few of them off in the front right here. And you don't ever want to sew like right up against sneaky fabric because it will come apart. So what I do is not get caught on all my needles. I measure. I don't worry about all this extra fabric because it's way bigger than the blanket is in the description. It's like 4 inches bigger, so I'm not worried about cutting off any of that fabric right there. What I'm worried about is catching the minky underneath of the fabric, so I make sure all this is straight. And I've made this line right here so that I have a straight line to follow. And what I'm doing is I don't have enough space right here. Usually I would use I have this, I don't know what's that. Oh, it's right here. I have this metal thing right here. It's a magnetic guide. And so sometimes I'll put it like that. And then if this was shorter, I could guide it through there like that. And so these things are handy. If you don't have one of these, I would suggest getting one. It just literally sticks to your presser cut or your plate. But because I don't have that, my fabric right here is lined up on this line right here. So I'm going to line it up on that the whole way through. So I hope that makes sense. I guess I'll just leave it. I can't really get it any closer. But also I can feel underneath of here where the minky is. I can feel where it's at. So that's what I'm going to feel for as I'm sewing too. So that's what we're doing right now. And also I can see where my line is. And I'm going off of that as well. Sorry, it's hard to see. But now I'm just going to take these off too. And I'm getting the minky, so we're doing good. You just gotta follow the line. That's why I made that line right there. And the only time I do this is when I have extra fabric on the end of my bolt. Otherwise, I'll just measure it to exact. But because I just wanted to make this blanket and get it over with, I didn't want to sit there and cut and measure and all that. So it's not that hard. You should pay a little more close attention. So I'm going to take this out now. And I'm going to take these corner ones off. Pivot and turn. And this is the last side that I have to do. Okay, so we're done. And now what I do is take it over to my table. I'm going to put it over here because that light is going to be so weird. Hold on. I'm going to turn this light off because it is too bright. Okay. Is that better? of dark, but you guys can see it better than I. But that light on it is way too bright. Yeah. Yeah, holding it up, Nita, is key. Like you have to hold it up or else it'll just like slide along. Okay. So now what I do is I just keep, this is like a magnetic thing. I just throw my needles all in the middle. Just, there's so many of them. You just take them. And I just throw them all in the middle. You guys see me? And you also want to cut your corners, like I cut my corners on the rompers. You want to do that to this as well, because then your corners will be nice and sharp and they won't like, I don't know, they won't look bulky. So this part, you just have to take all your needles out. I don't know why I call them needles, they're pins. My table is so big, I have to like use a step stool sometimes. So then I just take this and I just grab them. So that way you don't have to touch them, you don't get poked or anything like that. It's all done. All of these right here I just picked up. Okay, so now I have this little handheld vacuum that I use. I don't use my X-Acto knife on this part of it because it just takes too long to do it that way. So I just cut it with my this blade. It's the wavy blade. What's that blade called? Can't think of it right now. So I just go around and I cut all the way up to where like the fabric meet. But this makes it not as messy, I guess. But you want to make sure where your opening is. Don't cut that. I always leave it up a little bit. And then I just drag it like that so that you get most of the hair. I cut my corners at a 90-degree angle. So I can see my corner right here. This is the excess like fabric that I had. So I cut my corner at a 90-degree. And I just drag it down. Catch. And then because I need to turn it, I use my thing, my vacuum, so it might get loud. But I do this to every blanket with the fur. That way it doesn't go all over my shop because I have too much like clothing. But it picks up all this extra fur, and then that way it doesn't get everywhere. Just get in there. And all this extra fur that comes off on the edges, like it's so much hair. It gets everywhere. And this is actually, you charge this, so it's not battery operated. I have it's like a phone charger. And then you can see, like, look at all of that fur that was in there that I just got off the edges of it. That's crazy. So then I just throw that away. But all that fur would have gone in my shop. So then I just turn it and do the other side the same exact way without falling. Do your corners. Doesn't look like there's a lot, but there is so much hair off these things. That's why I like to use my X-Acto knife when I can. Because just on that one side, got all that, like so much hair. Or fur. Faux fur. Okay, so now you flip it inside out. So wherever I left my little, see I left this little tag right here. That's where I flip it inside out. And I might not have left, I don't think I left a big enough opening because I wasn't really paying attention, but we're going to try. So I grab the corner and you just like pull it. But you'll be surprised. I pull these blankets out of like 1-inch gaps because in the end, I don't like to have a huge opening. So you just pull it. But not like super tight. Like I'm not like ripping it. But I didn't leave it big enough. So this is going to be a little bit of a struggle. I'm going to go ahead and open it a little bit. Usually you want to leave like, I don't know, I leave like 1.5 inches. But this one I wasn't paying attention, just to be honest. So I'm just going to open it up a tiny bit. If I can see the opening. Okay. So there's good things and bad things about this sewing machine right here is when I do have to open up a seam, it's hard because it does such a good like locking stitch that it's hard to like open it up. Then a regular one, you just like rip the seam and you're good. Like this one is hard, like without having to like rip it. So I got it. Okay. So now I just opened up one little seam. I just went like 1 notch too much. So you just pull it out. And honestly, like this is my only cotton blanket. With my minky blankets that I do, it just literally flies right out. Like it's harder with cotton because it like is just so tough. But there we go. You have to get it through like one piece and then you're good. But my minky ones, I'll put my hand through and it just like flies out. Okay. So then I have this like stick and I just go through and I pop the corners out. So like this is my opening right here. So I just stick my hand in here. I have a small hand. And I just go through each corner and pop them out. And in the inside of the blanket, I have my fingertip over the pointy part of the stick so that I can like just really quickly go through the blanket without having to worry about poking a hole in the blanket, because the stick will poke through this cotton material. So inside of the blanket, I have my fingertip over it. Just a quick tip on that. Okay, so back to the side. Now I put my tag right there on this piece right here. So this just gets tucked in. Just like that. And that's where I put my tag. So if you haven't seen my tags, this is my tag. You see that? No, it won't focus. But I literally just slide it in right here. I like to go all the way very down to the very bottom. And then I just put a pin in it so that it stays in place while I'm sewing. And then I always start at this top corner up here and just go straight down. So I'm going to take you guys back over here quick so you can see me do this. This part's a little bit easier. So this part I just do a straight stitch all the way down as well. I'm going to poke this corner out a little bit more. I'm a perfectionist, so if it's not right, I have to make it right. Okay, so on this part, my foot right here has a spring on it. So if it's got like a thick bolt, like if it's bulky and like it's angled up, you can push your spring so that it levels out. And then as you go, it'll like pop out of place and then it'll start going straight. So on this one, I move my needle all the way over to the right as far as it can go. So my machine goes all the way over to a 9. And then I leave the rest of the settings the same. And then I always like make sure my fur on the sides are sticking out exactly the same on all sides. And on this part, to get it going, because I don't want it to get stuck right there, because then if it gets stuck right there, it's not going to look right. So I take my seam ripper and I just kind of put it underneath behind the needle so it doesn't hit the needle. And I just like scoot it along a little bit. So I'm going to let it go. It's locking and now it's going. And I just moved it along so that it wouldn't get caught. I'm going to need that for all of my corners. So then you just go down each side and do that. I sometimes have to take this corner and lift it up because it likes to fall. You guys see what I'm doing at all? I'm just like leveling out the blanket because you want it to be the same all the way around. Nice and smooth. And I pull it from the back as I'm holding it, and I have my elbow right here, like kind of like pushing it up. That's how I do it. It makes it easier. we're coming up to the end where I need to make sure that this is like tucked in the right way. That it's all like the fur's tucked inside. This is where I ripped it, so I need to cut that piece off right there. Okay. So then I pull this tight right here so that it stays straight. Now at this point I can take my pin out, but make sure my label is still tacked in there. And you can hear it going through it. Now I flip it and turn it. And then I also push, I don't know if you can see this. Let me show you. So see how it's like up at an angle? I'm pushing it down level and pushing my spring in. So now it's level. But can you see my line right there? I don't know if you can see it. But it's the same all the way around. It's just like 1/4 of an inch, I think, around the whole thing. And then I take my seam ripper and I just like guide it along. And then it's, once you get the tag off or like tucked in, then you don't have any more worries. You just keep going. And it goes fast. Make sure your fur is all nice and neat underneath. With my blanket. I think I keep hitting the mic. Sorry, my blanket is literally taking over. So this arm is moving the blanket, the cotton that way, and then I'm moving the minky out. So it lays flat and it shows the same amount on every side. I'm just weird and OCD about how much fur shows. I don't want one side having fur on the edge and then the other side it's like tucked underneath. I don't like that. That's why I keep stopping. One more side and it's done. So now it's locking it again. And then I just cut off these pieces right here. And then these two little pieces in the back, I try to cut as low as I can without cutting the stitch. And then I just take them off. Okay. So this is the blanket. This isn't the one with the name, but if this was the one with the name, it would be like the edges would be tucked in like this. So it would be like that. If this was the one that we embroidered, that's what it would be like with the name like in the corner. It would actually be like down in the corner more like that. But this is the one we made. Same blanket, just not embroidered or personalized. And then that's the backing. If you guys can see it, but it's like super furry. So soft. Can I link the vacuum? Of course. It's on Amazon, but yeah, I'll link the one that I have. I like it because it's small and you can just charge it. Like it's like a phone charger. Okay, I'm gonna sit for a second and talk with you guys. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask me. I'm gonna, I guess, move the camera so you guys can see me a little bit. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Where do you get your organic cotton fabric and you get it printed? So I get all of my cotton fabric from Spoonflower. And Spoonflower is a website that you can get any design from. If you want to look up flowers, if you want to look up rabbits or frogs or anything that you want, you can look up. And then you can do, they have all different kinds. The reason why I go with them, they are more expensive, but you can choose what you want. So like for my business, I wanted to be able to offer this same kind of print in a blanket material, in clothing material, swaddle material, you name it. They have it for you. So you can just literally choose what you want to have on that blanket or that clothing. And you can, like I have minky material that is the same print that I have in my clothing material. So on my website, you can choose, like, I want them to know that if they see a print that they like and it's not in clothing, they can say, hey, I like that print. Can I get it in the romper or whatever? And I can say, yes, you can. A lot of companies don't offer that. And so that's why I went with Spoonflower, because I wanted that variety. And I do work personally with a artist. So sometimes I'll come up with ideas and then I'll send them to her and she'll draw them up and then she'll send them to me and then she'll upload them on her Spoonflower account and then I can order them that way. And then that way, like, that's my exclusive design, if that makes sense. So that, like, that differentiates me from other people who make bummies or rompers or this or that. So that's just like one way that, and especially because I'm in a local shop, so I like to give her new prints. Like each month I roll out new prints. And so that's just a way for me to be different, I guess. I don't know. All right. Yeah, rotary blade. I can't think on the spot a lot. Like I'll just be talking and I'm like, I can't remember the name of this. Yep. Lily, I work late. And I didn't even, I'm still going to have to work after I get off this live because I didn't finish everything. So just kind of how it goes when you have your own business. That's what I do too. The magnetic pin holders. Oh, are you talking about like putting them in the middle of your blanket and picking them up that way? I do it like that because I used to poke myself so much, and so I would just like throw them there and then have that metal thing or the magnetic holder. I have them everywhere. I have like 10 of them in here, just like I have scissors everywhere. On the Mickey blanket, do you do something to prevent the two pieces of fabric from moving, especially from the center? So yeah, I explained that when I first started sewing the blanket. If you missed it, I'll explain it really quickly again. I do 2 layers of pins around the whole blanket, and I put them in. So here's my pin. So I used to put them in sideways. I guess I'm looking the wrong way. So I used to put them in sideways like this so that you could just like sew over them. Now I put them in um, long ways. So the way that the fabric's going, I do that. I do 1 layer and then I do a second layer because the second layer is actually the layer that holds the minky fabrics together so that they don't slip around. So do a perimeter and then do a second perimeter. The second perimeter doesn't have to be as precise. So I kind of add them like just wherever, but like throughout. And then in each corner, I do a like diagonal pin in each corner going in towards the middle so that the corners are legit like stuck, like they don't move anywhere. Because there's pin here, a pin here, and then I do a pin here so that it's pinned on all 3 sides of each corner. Oh, after I finish sewing it, I do not pin it at all. The only time I pin it is where my tag is. I just put a pin in there so it holds the tag until I get to that place, but I don't pin it at all for the top stitch. So sometimes I'll even like sew like I did one the other day. I don't have one up on the table right now ready to sew. But if this is my fabric and I do, sometimes I'll do a lovey and it'll be both sides of this fabric. So like front and back of this fabric. So say this is my minky or my lovey. I just use my clips and I clip it all together. And then what I actually do is I'll show you guys next time that we do a live how I do that. But I take my template and I actually like use a erasable pen and I trace out my template on top of this, and then that's where I'll sew my line down on this right here. But all of this right here is just pinned with my clips all around each side. Even right here, I pin it, pin it, pin it, pin it all the way around. I don't use pins, I use my clips, sorry, on if I do 2-sided minky. And then I never really have issues with the middle of it because as I'm sewing it, I'm holding it taut like this. So it's just sewing down the sides. Hopefully that makes sense. Folding laundry and still watching you. Oh my gosh. I feel so bad sometimes that you guys stay on here so late. I have like random things like that need to be finished, but I do have like a couple things that need to be packed or packaged. I can either move you over there to package them so you can see my packing station, or I can just bring them over here so you guys don't have to move. What would you prefer? Because that's a lot of moving and I feel bad about that. Or I don't have to package at all. I just uploaded a video that has packaging on it, so it's up to you guys. Like I have fur all over me. Are you guys still wanting to stay on here? We can end it. Like it's super late, so it's up to you guys. Like you guys have been on here. We've been on for 3 hours, so I'm going to continue working no matter what. So it's up to you guys, whatever you guys want to do. Let me go see how many orders I have ready to pack. I'll be right back. I have 5 that are ready to go. So what is the fabric called that you need to sew a shirt for embroidery? Like applique? Cotton? Just cotton for an applique embroidery shirt? Good night, Dawn. Thank you for being here. Oh, you mean like the shirt? Yeah. It needs to be like a thick interlock knit cotton, not cotton, like a, yeah, interlock knit. So like when I do my samples, I go to Joann's and they have like a solid interlock knit fabric that I use. And I actually, I'll show you right here. I cut it and I put them right here. I don't know if you can see that. So this, like underneath my cabinet, I cut all these. These are my pre-cut. This is all that fabric from Joann's. I get it. You can get it by the yard, and I just pre-cut it for. I think it's like 12 by 12 squares that I do, and that's how I do my samples. Good night, Sharon. Thanks for coming on. Do you guys have any more questions for me? What would you guys like to see me make videos of? I think I'm struggling, like trying to figure out, because I do so many different things. So I'm trying to figure out like what to do. Woman's top pattern. I don't really sew adult stuff, so I'm not sure. Yeah, as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers and I can use my phone to do lives, I want to show you guys. It's on the other side of the garage. I want to show you my photo booth. I handmade it, and it just is super simple. And I use it for literally everything now. But there's I need to find the shop that I bought all of my little. If you guys have been on my website, you see that I use like little props, and they're just wood, like engraved wood. And I have like different patterns on each one. Like one of them says stay young, or like loved. There's hearts. There's a rainbow one. There's like a paw print for like boys. There's a wild one. I have one that has my logo on it, or like the name of my shop. So like she can do anything, and it was amazing. And so I just got the same like wood ones, and I use all those for my photos, and I just switch them out like whether I'm doing a girl or boy photo. What do I do with teethers? I make pacifier clips, and I do teething rings, and I have like all the attachments for it. So I do like the same design. I'll go grab one really quick so I can show you. They're super neat. I'm so upset that Etsy took them off of my shop. So I actually do like so many different designs, but I'll just show you like a couple that I do. Let's So I'm over on the other side of my garage, so I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay. A loved one. Okay. I think I grabbed enough. So all of my teething rings are exactly the same. They're just different colors. So these are my teething rings that I do. They all look like this. They have this in the middle of each one, and I do 4 on each side. And then I have 2 different size rings on them. And then they each have 2 wooden rings on the bottom. So my rings are all the same. And I have a ton of different colors that you can get them in. So this is my teething ring. And I offer singles, or if you do like, I do a sale on if you buy 2. So one of them I think is like 15 or 2 for 20 or something like that. I don't know. I'm so bad with my prices. I can't remember. This is my ombre clip. You can get it in any color you want, but they're all, this doesn't have an attachment. It's just for a pacifier. But they're all the same. They have my beech wood clips on the back. I do offer all metal ones as well, but they're all made this way, and then they can say if they want metal or not. But this is the ombre. That's called my ombre clip. This one's my candy clip because the beads that I use on it have speckles on them. So this is my candy clip is what I call it, because it reminded me of candy. This is my mini hibiscus clip because it's small, and in each one of them I do different colors. So the pink I can do like black or white or gray or whatever color they want, but they all have the same hibiscus in the middle of them. And then it's just for a pacifier. This is my honeycomb clip because it has a honeycomb right here, and then it just is all silicone. And then this is my beehive clip. It's all wood. So these are big wood ones with one honeycomb in there. And then my clip. This is my classic clip. So they're all the same. They have 3 on top, 3 on bottom. It has the hexagon here, or I don't know what they call that. And then 1 bead here and 1 bead here. They're all the same on each one. And I call this my Andrew clip. It's named after my son. And so I have 3 on top of wood, 1 wood on the bottom, and then the rest I have 5 silicone beads in there. And you can get any of these in any color you want. Here is my love clip. It's just all wood, and it says love on it, if you can see the LOVE on there. And then this is my acorn clip. And I named it acorn because it's all wood, and it just reminded me of an acorn. I thought it was super cute. So all wood. So I do all wood. I do a mixture. I have other ones too, but that was just the ones I grabbed. But all of my rings are the same exact, just different colors. Good night, Sandy. Good night, Jenny. Do I make my own labels? No. Like the one I put in like my like my blanket labels and my clothing labels, I do not make those. No. I make like the wraps that I use around like the nursing pads I make, or when I used to make masks, I would put a label around them. Like these labels right here for like my blankets. So like these, I don't know if you can see that, but these are my blanket wraps. And I don't know if you can read or see that, but it's just like the dimensions of the blanket. So like the blanket that we just made, I can actually wrap it if you want me to wrap it for you guys so you can see, but it just has the wash instructions on the back of here, but it's on here, and I'll also put it in the packaging too. So they have like double wash instructions. So it just says 27 by 35, and then it says washable, 100% handmade in the USA. Care instructions are wash on delicate cycle and dry naturally. And then it has like my website like on the very bottom. It's kind of blurry, it won't focus. But those are those. I get these made from a lady on Etsy. She makes those for me. Let's see. I just got done finished making a blanket, and I was gonna either package up some stuff or keep working if you guys were all gonna stay on. I'm gonna go grab my orders so that I can package them really quick. So you guys chat really fast, and I'll be right back. I don't know if you guys want me to move you over there because it is a lot of moving, but if you guys want to see my shipping station, I can move you over there. I can move you. It just might take a minute. Okay. I'll move you guys over there. On another video, I saw that you had a teddy bear teether, hard plastic maybe. Oh, here, I'll show you. It's over at the other station, so I can show you that one. I'll show you guys a bunch of stuff over there. So let's just have fun tonight. So whoever's on here, you're going to be moving around again. So if you don't like motion, go take a potty break or something, because this is going to move. I'm going to lay you down actually for a second because I don't want to drop it. So I will be right back. I'm going to move you. Close your eyes because that flickering is not nice. You're moving all the way across my garage. That's why I laid the camera down, so I wouldn't drop you guys. We're moving. We are moving. Okay. Okay, we're here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to, yeah, this is my garage, guys. So I'm going to face you this way. Maybe I will put you on the other side. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to show you this because you guys just asked about it. This is where I keep some of my, this is another where I keep my paper over here. I keep, this is my printing stuff in here. This is my, post office drop box that I use. When people buy girl teethers, I give them, these bags. This is, I think, what you were talking about. It's silicone, but it's super cute. It's tan. So I have these back here. I have these, silicone rainbows. They're just, all in here. I have this really pretty, I don't know if you can tell. It's like a mauve color. And then I haven't done anything with these, but this was a closeout that I got. They're those little hibiscus beads that I showed you. There's all different colors. So that was my girl version. And then these are my more neutral boy version. There's green, sage, and tan and stuff in there. So over here is where I keep all of my back supply of stuff. And those are all my orders. So all my plastic things over here, I have rows of them. I have I think 27 open orders right now. So I gotta work. I'm gonna put you right up here. This is my shipping station. So what I do is I print out my labels. Then, see, I already put these on so that we're good. This was a shirt that I made. It just says all boy. I think it's backwards to you guys. I don't know. But it's just black vinyl. And I put my care instruction card in the back. I don't know if you can see that, but that's my care instruction card. And I have all of these up here. I don't know if you can see. They're all up here. Like I write my thank you notes on here. It has my Being a Bliss on there. Just thank you for buying handmade. And then I have my logo on the back. And I just write my letter on here. And then these are the care instruction card that you just saw. And then on the back, it just has my logo. And then I just keep my small, medium, and then my large clear bags to put, like these bags, to put your stuff in. And then I have my do not bend stickers here, my thank you, and different thank you stickers with my little like dispenser roller. I don't have a automatic labeler for my shipping labels, so I just use these. They're 4x6, and I just stick them in my printer and print them out. And then I have, let me move you guys over here so you can see it better. The cord on this camera isn't very long. That's why I keep moving the table it's on. So right here I have these little poly mailers are super cute. They just say thank you on them. Whenever I use those for teethers, these are my business cards. I have all my stuff on the back. And these are what I put on all my clothing items. With rompers, I put these attached to them. And then this is my, can you see it? I don't know if you can read that. It won't focus. It just says, please take good care of me. I am handmade in the USA for your trendy little one. Please wash on a gentle cycle and dry me naturally. And then it has my logo. So I put that on everything. Also my stickers, I put those on all my bags, on the back of the bag. And then I have my, when I ship in boxes, this is my water activated tape that I use. So there's water in here, you put the water in there, and then you just pull this out right here, and it goes on there, and it gets water on it. So kind of like an envelope, when you lick it, that's water activated. And then down here, I just have like, just like my extra mailers, and then I use these for like my smaller like teethers, if I ship teethers out. I have some boxes back there that I save. So like sometimes if I get an Amazon order and it doesn't have like, I use these too. These are my, like, these were my mask ones because they're tall. But anyway, sometimes if I get in like a delivery, this is a blanket that I made a while ago, and it has a nice box that doesn't have stuff written all over it, then I'll keep it because it's nice and I can use it. So then I just put it underneath here, and then I'll use it when I need it. Okay, so for any of my shirts that I do, I always put them in one of these. And so I put them in this too, in here. That's why I'm not putting anything in here right now. I've already like sealed it up and put that in there. So that goes in here like that. So then I close it, and I always attach one of my stickers. Stick it in here. Go in. These are my poly mailer bags. They just are super simple, and they say thank you, boy or girl. And then what I do is, I'm not prepared for this right now, so I'm all over the place, but I just take, it already has one of these, so I don't need one of those, but I do use, and it's not a clothing piece, it already has the wash instructions in there. So if I am going to put like a pair, like these leggings, we'll get one of these cards. So I'll put that in that one. And this one will also get that, this, and then the reason why I'm putting this in here too as well, even though it has wash instructions, is because it says, I'd love a review. And you want them to review your items so that you can, people can see that. So that's what I do. And I just write a little note on there. So their name is Ashley. So I'm going to write, thank you, Ashley. I just do like a super simple note. So she got an all boy kids toddler shirt. So I'm just going to put, thank you, Ashley. I hope you love I hope you love this sweet boy shirt. And then it doesn't have to be like a bunch of stuff, just like something super simple, super easy. And then what I'll do then, I haven't printed their ticket yet, so what I'm gonna do is show you my process, and then I'll print my ticket out later. But usually I would print my ticket out. I use a thank you sticker, or stamp, I mean. I always put an invoice in there just because, but you don't have to. It's up to you. So then I put the thank you letter on top with my business card and then their invoice. And then I just pin it all together. And then I stick it inside of here. This is ready to go. And then what I'll do is say this is their label. I put the label right here. And then I always put a piece of tape. You can't see this. There you go. So if this was their label, I'd put their label right here. And then I would put a piece of tape over the top of it just to secure it. That's just me being OCD again. Like I just want to make sure it's secure. So I always put a piece of tape over the top of it. And then down here is where I put my do not vend sticker down here. And then because I have not put the label on yet, I take their invoice and I'll just clip it on top like this. So in the morning, because the post office is closed anyway, so in the morning I'll take this and print them all out, and then that'll be done. So that was that shirt, and now these are a little bit different. So I'm going to start with my note, and the name is Sarah. So I'm just going to say, thank you, Sarah. Is it with an H? You always want to make sure you spell it right. Yeah. And I'm going to say, I hope you love these sweet turtle leggings. And that way she knows like I'm describing what she ordered and I'm not just like making her up a note that I write everybody. I always circle that. And these are the leggings. Aren't they super cute? So I don't have very many like boy patterns, but I thought that was like kind of gender neutral. So these ones are small. So I do this with my pants. I put that there. And I just grab like a small bag and put them in here. And then I take this, and it won't fit. Usually I put it in like this on all the other ones, but it won't fit that way, so I'm going to put it in sideways. Like that. And I do that. And then, so I'm going to write her name, Sarah Richardson, because I didn't print out an extra one of these. So that way I can put this on her envelope, and I know when I ship it out that it's going to her, and I don't forget who it is. who it's going to. So with these, I'll just put in my white bubble mailer. And then again, I always put my sticker on everything. I put it on the back. And then I'm going to